You're watching Roll for Crit, and right now we are talking about two brand new game announcements from AEG for 2019. These are their first game announcements since stating that they are going to be publishing fewer games in general, so we can assume that these are some big ones that they have a lot of confidence in, starting with one that is going to be available in July called Atelier, the Painter's Studio.
That's right. In this game, you are all master 19th century painters. And of course, you're trying to prove you're the best. You're going to be gaining victory points through the paintings that you paint. These are all going to be actual classical paintings, so I'm sure that some of them will be very recognizable to you, as well as through patrons, because as you know, rich people always love paying artists to make them pretty pictures. So the way you're going to be doing this is rolling dice, and depending on the values you get, they'll let you do different actions. They'll be listed on a cute little palette that has all your abilities on there, and they can let you get inspiration tokens, so let you do special effects later on, use your students, aka interns, and move them around the board, collect paint where your students are, and of course, actually make paintings. So you will be going sort of back and forth, rolling your dice to do different actions, and then, of course, everyone re-roll again once everyone's used their dice, until you someone has painted 3 paintings with the masterpiece symbol, which will sort of end the game, and you'll count up points from your paintings as well as your patrons, which pretty much are like secret goals, and that's basically the gist of it. Simple, it looks like a simple, fun dice rolling game, but I know Jonathan and I, we're already always attracted to things that use classical pieces of art. I don't think just because Jonathan is an art history major. But that is not the only game they have announced that's coming out this year.
No, that is in July, but later on in October, they've got another release. It's called Eco's First Continent. And this one comes from designer John D. Clare, who also did Mystic Vale and Edge of Darkness for AEG. And it's being illustrated by Sabrina Miramon, who's done games like Photosynthesis. So, there's kind of this cool art style to it. It's all about nature, this game. Everyone who is playing is designing the planet. It's sort of like Slarta Bartfast in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You get to decide the layout, how you want everything to look, the ecosystems, etc. It's all up to you. Play is simultaneous in this game. So one player is going to draw a token out of a bag, and it's going to represent a specific element. And if you have a card in front of you with that element on it, then you can place a cube onto that space, which will let you activate that card. And once you've filled up all those spaces on that card with cubes, you get to rotate it, use its effect, and carry on. And once you've rotated the card a certain amount, you lose access to it. And then in the center of the table, there are going to be some land masses, different types of environments, mountain, forest, etc. And those hexes will be coming out in different ways, and depending on what cards you have, you can play new hexes to the middle of the table, you can add animals to those different environments, and you may want different animals to be in different places to get you different amounts of points. And at the end of the game, once someone has reached a certain amount of points, I believe it's 80 points in the standard game, you end and you count up everybody's and see who has won.
So we have 2 games that I think would personally seem to be designed to fit into a museum. Definitely up our alley. What I thought was very interesting that Eco, when we
That's
first heard
Ecos plural. There's multiple Ecos.
Sorry, Ecos, yes. When I first heard of it, I'm like, this sounds cool, but I couldn't, put my finger on it. And it just occurred to me now, it sounds like the Planet game from Blue Orange.
Similar.
Where you have a little magnetic sphere and you put tiles on with different environments, but then you try to get animals to come to your environment.
So in this one, everyone's working on the same
right. Everyone hoards their own little planet in that one.
What it made me think of was another very recent AEG game, Tiny Towns. It shares a similar aspect wherein one person draws something out of a bag or, whatever it is. In that case, they either name something or draw a card from a deck, but everyone has their own tableau working from the same resources that are coming out of it.
Maybe we can score higher in this one.
Yeah, if we're lucky, maybe we'll be better at this game. But I thought that was interesting that they are going for, it seems like a similar approach, but when you look into the details of the games, they are very different. This one sounds a little more in-depth than Tiny Towns, more of a hardcore game. It goes for $60, so there's more stuff going on in it. Both of them sound very interesting to me, and they both sound kind of like they're going to add to a well-rounded lineup. They sound unique and interesting and different types of gameplay. Nothing from either that is really, they're both kind of refinements on systems we've seen before. Atelier, dice rolling, Ecos, like I said, sort of this multiple players using the same resources for their own tableau, almost like a roll and write style thing again, but not actually writing or rolling in that case. But I like them both. Which one do you think you are more excited to play?
I definitely want to give both a shot. They both are, as I said in the end of my, when I was talking about Atelier, they both sound like things up our alley, We like museums.
We're nerds.
I think I'm going to have to go a little bit towards Ecos. I think just because the idea of you end up building this whole planet, and as I've said countless times, I tend to like a game more even if I lose, because even if you built something and you lost, you still like, look at what we made.
Yeah, no, that is a pretty cool aspect to it.
I think that will, it pulls me over that way too, but I don't want to just throw Atelier out because, one, I didn't really mention it because, we just quick go through, but like when you make a painting, they have abilities too, not just points. So it sort of has this engine building aspect to it too, which I think it will be sort of this surprise complexity to it.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, we've seen our fair share of art games, so hopefully it does enough to stand out from those. And it does kind of have that same aspect you were talking about too, where even if you lose, you can say, "Oh, I made these cool paintings, though." That's kind of neat.
That's right. I made them.
I made them. I painted them with myself. So yeah, like we said, Atelier is coming out in July, and Ecos will be later in October. Remains to be seen if AEG is going to be putting out any more. I would guess not more than maybe 1 or 2 at most other games this year. So if they're sticking to their guns,
expansions,
right? Ignoring any expansions or anything like that, that they're really going to be focusing on these guys for their content, so hopefully they'll be good. Let us know in the comments, which one are you looking forward to the most? What types of gameplay are you interested in? What sounds like it's going to pique your interest from these 2 games?
But until next time, I'm Will.
I'm Jonathan.
And this has been Roll for Crit. We want you to like and subscribe, and if you have the chance, take a look at our Patreon.
Stay tuned to our channel for tons more tabletop gaming content. You don't want to miss it.